In this part of the lesson, we are going to take a look at our Jewelry Cad Dreamlight Halo templates, our Halo settings for our gemstones. So we'll create a new file, our generic template, blank part. We'll name the part JCD Light Halos. Okay, so our Halo settings, we come into our Gems and Settings tab. We have this Halo template command icon. Left click on here to bring up the carousel of all our different Halo settings for the different gemstone shapes. Okay, so these are our halos. Okay, I'm going to take a closer look at some of these, but prior to doing this I will just copy my datums. Copy datum. I'm just going to copy the one datum along the x-axis about 20mm. Confirm the operation. Okay, let's place a couple of stones first prior to placing our halos on them. Gems and settings, place stones. Let's place a round stone, let's say 8mm in diameter, about a 2 carat brilliant cut gemstone. Confirm the operation. Middle click, let's also place a princess cut. Okay, we'll give this one a colour. And the dimensions, let's also say an 8x8. Okay, that's about 2.5 carats there, we can see the weight. Confirm the operation. Okay, so now let's place our halo settings into these gemstones. First of all, we pick our round, navigate to the round halo setting. We know we have an 8mm gemstone here, so let's change our gem length 8mm, gem width also 8mm. Preview. Now we can place it on the gemstone. Okay, if you let your cursor hover over the gemstone, you'll be placing it on the gemstone. So where the gemstone moves, the halo will move. If you place it on the datum, okay, where that datum moves, the halo will move. Okay, so we have a lot of controlling parameters within here, and we'll take a look at some of these in just a moment. But first of all, I'm going to confirm the operation. Okay, our tweak will pop up. I'll exit out of this. I want to blank out the center gemstone first so we can see what's going on. Okay, so this is our halo. It does come in with a seat for a gemstone, but I generally like to add in a bezel setting as well, or a wire setting for my gemstone, my center gemstone. Okay, now let's enter into the component history, our halo history. So with our entity filter set to component, double click on the halo. We're now in the halo history, the part history. Okay, and let's take a look at how it's constructed. First of all, we have a round oval. Okay, we played it, but nothing is showing up. This is because it is blanked out. Right click, unblank. Okay, so that is our round shape. We next have a plane coming in here. Then have something else that's blanked out. Okay, it's the halo sketch. So this is how the halo is constructed. We have a sketch that is then swept around this round circle, like so. Okay, so this is how the halo component is constructed. If we exit back out into our part level, let's now try a tweak. Come into our Tools and Cutters tab, tweak, pick the component, activate it here. You have to bring out, expand this box. Okay, so we can now play around with our dimensions here. Gem length, gem width, we know how this will affect our halo. Gem length and gem width, that will be in here. We have a gem angle. Okay, this is going to be our side stone gems, the angle with which they are set. Okay, we have a gem depth. We could decrease the depth or increase the depth of this channel. Like so. Okay, so we have many options, just play around with them to see what they do. Top width thickness. Playing around with it. Again, we can't seem to see what effect this actually has. So if you are having trouble establishing what a particular parameter does on a component, okay, there is a way we can find out, track down what this parameter controls. If we exit out of our tweak, come back into our component history by double clicking into it, and then we can step through our history, edit each operation, okay, right click on a dimension, and we can see what that dimension is linked up to. So this is the gem length here, this will be the gem width. Okay, we have a plane, it's not linked up to any parameters. Next is the halo sketch. Okay, so this halo sketch, we've got plenty of parameters here. What are they all linked up to? Right click, modify. This is the gem angle. This is the one we saw before. This angle here, we can modify it like this to see the effect it has on our sketch. Okay, if you want to have a different visualization of our dimensions, come into view, dimension display. Okay, we could show the dimension names, they don't mean much to us there, but we could also have the dimension expressions. Okay, so here we have the dimension expressions. It's all a bit cluttered at the moment, but we can see this one is the gem angle. Okay, so we know what that one does. Blank it out. Okay, if we want to see what they are, we can drag them about as well to unclutter this. If we understand their purpose, we can blank them out to clean up our space, to really track down the parameters that we're after. Okay, we have depth and girdle. Arc radius. Okay, so playing around in here we can get a feel for how our halo components are constructed. Shape control. Okay, just remember to cancel out if you do make modifications, because if you select OK, it will lock in that value. If you cancel out, it will go back to the original variable that it is linked up to. So let's just blank out a few of these. We have the gem melee size. These are the size. This is the size of the stones within our channel, or at least the width of the channel. We can make the stones whatever size we please. So let's blank out a few of these or drag them out of the way. Okay, and here is the top width thickness, that parameter that we could not see the effect it was having. If we modify this, we can see, let's change the step size, decrease it to just say 0.1. Okay, the reason we couldn't see the effect it was having is because this is happening inside of the halo. Okay, cancel out. If we understand what our parameters are doing, we can exit back out into the part level of our halo. Okay, now we're in the part level of our component. If we exit back out into the part level of our design, we can see our component, it is not coming in properly. This is because we left it unplayed within its own history. Okay, so this might get a little bit confusing. I just undid to come back into that component history. So before we leave the component history, we must make sure that it is fully replayed. Okay, remember we can see the attributes of our component in the deriving parameters panel, but any changes we make here, okay, they will be lost when we come back into our part level of our design. They'll be lost when we regenerate the history. Okay, so that's why we need to make our modifications within our own history using the tweak tool. Okay, so let's unblank our round gemstone. Come in and we'll use the tweak again. Okay, so we have an understanding of what the parameters do now, and now we are free to make changes that we want. Okay, I'm just going to change my gem depth a bit. Let's kick out the gem melee size. Okay, I'm not going to make a load of changes here. Okay, now let's insert the halo for our baguette, our princess, sorry. Gem settings, halo template, navigate to the princess cut, halo, here is our princess cut. We know we have an 8x8 princess. Preview, let's plonk it on the datum. Here we can come in and make some changes. Just remember to always left click on preview to update the changes to the halo. I'm just going to confirm it as it is. Don't want to tweak. Okay, the tweak again is another area that we can make our modifications if you haven't made them how you would like in the previous modifications tab. So let's cancel out of here. Okay, now I'm going to merge these halos because they both come in as components. I'm merging them as bases, and now they're shapes. Okay, now I like to put a bezel setting in on my stone as well. So I'll move the gemstone up first, so we have a bit more space. I only need to move it up a small amount. That's fine. We come in with our gems and settings, bezel, navigate to the round bezel. It's an 8mm stone. Let's drop it onto the datum. Okay, we can play around with our parameters for the bezel. Might drop my height above the girdle down. That's too much. Okay, now you can see here how this bezel is sitting on the datum that I picked, not on the stone, because I didn't pick the stone. If I were to change my point, pick it as a stone, you can see it's jumping up there to the stone. Okay, I can pick anywhere on the stone. And now this bezel, the stone is sitting on the bezel seat better. Okay, so be careful and keep in mind whether or not you're picking the stone or the datum. Okay, and you can pick either one depending on the control that you want. Okay, so in this case I'm picking the gemstone so that my gemstone fits nicely onto the seat of the bezel. Okay, I'll drop my height above girdle down again. Could change our bezel angle. Okay, we have the bezel coming down through our halo here. We could decrease the bezel length below girdle to get rid of that excess material. Okay, and there's other parameter changes we can make, but I'm going to leave it at that. Exit out of the tweak. Okay, we can merge this as well. If you want, we can merge it, do a boolean add at the same time as merging. We can boolean add it to our halo, so we have one complete shape. Okay, now we come to adding in some gemstones around our halo, within the channel of our halo. Again, with the round halo, this is relatively easy to do. Come into our pave, gems between two curves. Okay, we can pick our curves as the edges, the inside edges, surface, change our step size to 0.01, increase our stones, spread them, even them, to add a minimum distance, can give a elevation, Okay, so you can see this is pretty simple to do. Then we come in with our prongs, gem settings. Let's use the uniform prongs, they're all the same size stone. Pick as a feature. Okay, and we know how to do all of this. Okay, I'll just continue on quickly. Okay, and then we come with the cutters, and we know the rest. Okay, moving on, we have a Baguette Halo. Okay, so the round halo, the oval halo, some of the cushions, these are all relatively easy to pave in our channels. Okay, but the baguettes can be slightly more difficult, the emeralds even more so. Okay, and we have to approach these in a slightly different way to get our pave within our channel around the halo. Okay, so when we come in to pave with our gems between two curves command, which is only one of the commands we can use, we could also try our arrays using certain methods. The gems between two curves, pick the two edges and the surface. Okay, you can see that we're going to have an overlap of our stones around here. Okay, so we need to approach this in a different manner to account for this overlap, to budge our stones to the right so that they all fit in without overlapping. Now there is a tool in the full version of Jewelry Cad Dream that lets you do the pave of all these more complicated surfaces in one go. Okay, but in the light version we need to take several steps to accomplish this. Okay, but the light version is half the price. So to approach this one way, come to our wireframes tab, curve from edge. We pick these two edges that we're going to need to be paveing the surfaces of. Let's change the line color to green so they stand out a bit. Okay, if for some reason you can't see the lines that you produced, okay, sometimes the history needs a regeneration. Or it could be a case of needing to delete your session, clean up your file. Okay, but sometimes a regeneration can help to just sort out any problems within a design. Okay, so here are our curves that we have created, and now we're going to use our trim extend tool. Trim extend. We're going to pick the curve. Okay, make sure you're picking the curve, not the edge. We'll extend, or trim in this case, at both ends, and we'll take it back. Okay, let's do the same for this curve. Pick the curve, both ends, middle click, there you go. Okay, so now when we come in to do our gems between two curves pave, make sure you're picking the curve and not the edge, the outside curve, and then we swap our entity filter onto edge. We're now picking the edge, the surface. Okay, you can see that our stones have been budged in. Increase our number, spread them, even them, whatever you want. Okay, let's add an elevation, say 0.2. Okay, we're going to come in straight away and mirror these gemstones. Now we want to mirror them across a datum here, but we don't have that datum. I should have copied it along with our top datum, but it's not a problem. We can simply right click whilst we're in the mirror field, right click, insert datum. Let's swap my entity filter onto datum. Use our smart datum method. Pick at this datum here. We don't want to offset it, just come in and flip it around using this orientation. We are aligning it to the front plane. Okay, confirm the operation, and we have our mirror thrown in straight away. Confirm the operation. Okay, let's do the same for the other side. Okay, middle click. Let's pick the curve. Curve B, we pick the edge, surface, the surface. Let's add the same elevation, 0.2. Spread them, increase the number. Oh, and mirror as well. Again, we don't have that datum. Right click, insert datum. Let's go into wireframe display mode. Smart pick. Okay, let's change the entity filter onto datum first. Smart pick, top datum. Don't bother about the offset, we're just going to flip it onto a side plane. Confirm. There's our mirror. Confirm the operation. Okay, and there you go, that is our pavé of our gemstones on our Baguette Halo. Okay, and then we come in, gems and settings. We can use our scaled prongs, pick our stones. You can try picking them all. Okay, and it does try and throw in a few here. Okay, but obviously these prongs are no good. Confirm the operation. Let's exit out of the tweak. I would come in, erase these components. Middle click. Come in with a component replicate. Replicate this component. Let's say here. Okay, it might be a little bit big. Maybe we would need a smaller prong in there, but I'm going to live with that one for now. You might want to put a much bigger prong in here, or several prongs. Confirm. We'd want to rotate this one. Shape, move, component, pick the component. Now we want to rotate it in the direction. We can pick it as this edge. And you rotate the prong. Okay, and then we can mirror. Tools and cutters, mirror components, datum. Let's go to the side first. Pick the components. Pick as the feature. Confirm. Middle click. Of our other datum components, picking as the feature. Okay, and there you go. Okay, and then we come in with our cutters. We merge the prongs, merge the cutters. Come in with a bezel. Okay, but how about if we wanted a gemstone in each corner? Okay, we want the gemstone in the corner. We don't like this kind of space here. And the space is too small to add in another gemstone. So how do we go about adding the gemstone at the corners? Well, we could come in prior to even our wires, actually after our wires. Come in, gem settings, which is place some stones. Place a gemstone, say blue, dimensions. We want it to be 1.5 if I remember correctly. That's the diameter or the distance of our channel, the width of our channel. We place it on the corner. Okay, now it's going to place on a face, so it's going to be at a wonky angle. Let's give it the elevation of 0.2. Confirm. We're going to move it, we're going to rotate it, shape, move, rotate, same thing, same way as we did with the prongs, about the edge. It doesn't matter which side we pick it. We just rotate it until we feel like it's in line better. Then we can mirror. Tools, cutters, mirror components. Okay, I'm just going to blank out this center gemstone for now actually, so I don't have to keep switching into the wireframe display mode. Okay, I've forgotten that our datums have disappeared because they're elsewhere in the history. So let's play this first one. I'm just going to erase that gems between two curves so I can play the next one. Mirror, shape, mirror. Okay, I can use the mirror within the shape, or I can use the mirror within the tools and cutters tab. You can play gems between two curves. You can then create the other side again. Let's say blue, curve A. Doesn't matter which side we pick first. Second curve is the actual curve, not the edge. This is the surface. Elevation 1.2. Spread, bump up our number. Mirror across this face. Look, I put far too large of an elevation. 0.2. Confirm the operation. Okay, so you can see we have far too much of an overlap in these corners. First of all, I'm going to make these a blue stone. Okay, if we see this pop up when we regenerate our history, just go yes to all. We do want to mirror. Okay, this is where our feature frozen comes in handy. Actually, I'll just pop that in. Show the frozen bar, drag the feature frozen, let's drag it to there. Just speed up our regeneration slightly more. Yes to all. Edit this, we're going to change the color to blue. Confirm. Okay, now we need to decrease or increase the amount that we are trimming these curves to move these in a bit, to move our gemstones in. But I'm actually going to insert a variable so that I can play around with the amount that we are trimming within my attributes. So let's insert some variables. Insert variable, let's call this curve trim. We'll set the value to be negative 0.75. Okay, it's added into our expressions there. Now we edit our trims, edit, click on this drop down arrow here, expression, left click on select variable. Okay, if we can't find the correct variable, we can navigate to it within our folders, curve trim, left click, throw the curve trim variable in there, confirm. Okay, you gotta watch it that it is accepted that variable. Edit the next one, expression. Okay, we don't need to select the select variable because we already have our variables browser up here. Just pick the variable, see that it gets thrown in there, confirm. Okay, and there are our trims. Okay, we come into our attributes, parts, driving parameters. Let's add our curve trim to here. Left click on a field, left click on curve trim, apply to lock it in. Okay, so now when we play around with this, you can see our curve trim is updated. We have control from within our driving parameters without having to go forward and backwards within our history. Okay, so let's play through the rest of our history. Yes to all. Gems between two curves. Okay, now we still have this giant overlap. Let's play around, attributes, parts, with our driving parameter, okay, until we can find the offset that looks decent. Let's decrease it to -1. Or I should say increase the trim. Okay, it's not enough. 1.5. Yes to all. Okay, it's pretty much there now. It seems like this corner gemstone is maybe elevated a bit too much. This is an easy fix. Okay, it still looks pretty tight. If we want to drop it down more, we can. Let's say -2. We'll have larger spacing between our gemstones though. But maybe that's something we prefer. I'm going to leave it as it was. -1.5. Yes to all. Okay, we can come in. This was our manual stone. Right click, open the elevation, edit. We can drop it down, let's say 0.1. Okay. Regenerate the history. Yes to all. Okay, so they're pretty tight there. That's probably a bit too tight, but we'll just live with it for now. We get the point of it, come in with our scaled prongs, let's edit, let's pick the stones, all of the stones. Okay, it's not liking these cornerstones for some reason, but these ones are thrown in fine. It's not a problem, we can always just mirror these components across. Okay, we'll confirm the operation. Let's add in another prong down here. Tools cutters, component replicate, confirm the operation, shape, move, let's move this component, our prong, our bead, we're going to move it along this edge, set our entity filter onto edge. Can't see it, we've got to zoom in there. Okay, now since this is a princess, meaning that all of our sides are symmetrical, we could do a pattern. Okay, we didn't have to do our mirror twice, we could have just patterned our components about the axis, about this axis. Pick the base, there are components, in this case we'll just pick these prongs, we want 4 of them, and we can derive spacing. Here we have to pick the direction again, there you go, so the pattern works fine, or we could mirror them across 2 planes. Confirm the operation. Okay, then we will come in with our cutters, raise this up, place the bezel, and we know how to do all of that. Okay, so that is a brief look at our Halo templates within Jewelry Cad Dreamlight. Okay, there's many more Halo templates, there's one for each gemstone shape. Okay, so come in and practice using them, parveying in the channels, okay, finding the right methods to do so.